Hello student, Hemesh is here. So today we are going to start the new topic of our chapter called space mission. So today we are going to understand the orbit of the satellite. So what is orbit of satellite? The satellite revolve around any planet in a specific distance from the planet. That specific distance is called as its orbit. Okay, like the moon, which is the natural satellite of the earth, and it revolves around the earth in a specific or fixed orbit or fixed distance from the earth. That's why its path of the revolution is called as its orbit. Okay, so let's understand detail about the orbit of the satellite. So we have orbit of the satellite is decided on the basis of the type of orbit. See, we are deciding the orbit for the artificial satellite, not for natural. Okay, so we are designing the different types of satellite in our space research center, and these different types of satellite are for the different function to perform. That's why they have to place in a specific orbit, whether they are going to place in a elliptical orbit or in a circular orbit. It decides on the basis of the function of the satellite. Okay, that's why we have to decide how and where the satellite is going to perform its function. That particular path which satellite revolve around the earth is nothing but its orbit. Okay, so the orbit of a satellite it decide on the basis of type of orbit. किस टाइप का ऑर्बिट है, उसको किस टाइप का फंक्शन परफॉर्म करना है, दैट डिसाइड इट्स ऑर्बिट. ओके, द हाइट अबोव द अर्थ सरफेस इज डिपेंड ऑन द फंक्शन ऑफ सैटेलाइट. लाइक अगर वेदर सैटेलाइट की बात करें तो वेदर सैटेलाइट की जो डिस्टेंस है फ्रॉम द अर्थ सरफेस वो डिफरेंट रहेगी. फिर अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट की, सो कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट की हाइट डिफरेंट रहेगी एज कंपेयर टू द weather satellite. Okay, so these are the different types of satellite. They perform different function. That's why they have to place in a specific orbit above the earth surface. Next we have all artificial satellite do not revolve in the same orbit. जितने भी हमारे ऑर्बिट है सैटेलाइट है वो सेम पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट में रिवॉल्व नहीं करते. अगर क्या होगा, when all the satellite will revolve in a same orbit, then they will collide with each other. आज नहीं तो कल वो एक दूसरे से कोलाइड होंगे and will destroy each other. Okay, that's why all the satellites have the different orbit around the earth. Okay, next we have orbit are two types. There are two types of orbit. One is circular orbit and another one is elliptical orbit. Okay, so circular orbit, it is earth and its circular orbit, and it is the focus or two focus of the elliptical path. Okay, so orbit can revolve in a circular orbit or elliptical orbit. It is again decided by the function of satellite. Next we have satellite are launched in a specific orbit with the help of satellite launch vehicle. Okay, again we are saying it SLV. SLV is satellite launch vehicle. Okay, so all the artificial satellite they are fixed in a particular orbit with the help of satellite launch vehicle. Next we have the satellite is given a specific velocity that it can revolve in a particular orbit, and that velocity is called as critical velocity, and it is tangential to the circular path. Okay, the velocity of the orbit which is also called as critical velocity. See here we have the critical velocity in tangential direction. Okay, to the orbit. जो orbit होगा उसको tangential direction में क्या करेगा, revolve करेगा. That's why it gives a specific circular motion with the help of launch vehicle. Velocity is tangential direction to the orbit, then satellites start revolving around the planet in a specific path. That path is nothing but orbit. The velocity can be decided. Next point we have the velocity can be decided by the formula. Okay, so to decide the velocity of formula, which is depend on universal gravitational constant, which is capital G. Capital M is the mass of the planet, R is the radius of the planet, and H is the height of the satellite from the surface of planet. Okay, like what is G? G is universal gravitational constant. For Earth, it is for any planet it is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. We have M. M is the mass of planet. R is the radius of the planet. H is height of the satellite from the surface. Okay. Here, critical velocity does not depend on the mass of the satellite. Mass of the satellite बहुत ज़्यादा कम होता है, negligible होता है. That's why we are saying that the mass of the satellite which does not decide the velocity or critical velocity. Okay. Next we have as height of the satellite. See, अगर height बढ़ रही है, यहाँ पर h की वैल्यू बढ़ेगी, so critical velocity की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी? Decrease होगी. Okay, so as the height of the satellite increases from the earth surface or any surface of the planet, then critical velocity will be decreases. Okay, then we have the centripetal force. See, once the satellite is fixed in a particular orbit, it revolves around the planet in a fixed orbit or fixed path, which is nothing but the orbit. Here, when it revolves, it gives that particular velocity. That velocity is decided by the centripetal force acting on the satellite due to planet, and which is nothing but the centripetal force acting on satellite by the planet is the formula we have mv square divided by r, where m is the mass of planet, vc is nothing but critical velocity, and r is the distance from the center of earth to the satellite. Okay, this is the distance r. Okay, so this is our earth. Okay, it is the planet earth, and it is the orbit where the satellite is being launched. Okay, it is satellite and it revolves with velocity called critical velocity. Here r plus h, it is r means radius of earth, h means height of the satellite from the earth surface, so it is r plus h, and which is equals to r. Okay, it is the orbit of the earth. Okay, so the satellite will revolve around the planet continuously with the velocity called critical velocity. Okay, so these are the different orbit which is decided by the function of the satellite, which type of satellite is being launched and what kind of work it is to be completed due to satellite. That height is decided by the type of satellite. Okay, so students, here we have completed our today's session. Here we have understood how to decide the orbit of the artificial satellite. Okay, so in next video we are going to understand different types of orbit. Okay, so types of orbit we will cover in our next video. So आज के लिए इतना ही, मिलते हैं next video में. All these points are very important, so you have to write each and every point. Okay, so write it down or take a screenshot.